another Divine Quantum podcast. This is our first in-person podcast.
I'm so excited.
We are so excited, and we have today is the podcaster interviewing another podcaster. But
Yes.
he's like has one of the biggest podcasts in Hawaii. Kamaka Dias, welcome to.
Mahalo for having me. I feel honored. First in person.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yeah.
Is
of
it
course.
your first podcast? Someone is interviewing you or no? 'Cause
No,
you always
no.
interview everyone.
Yeah. I've done other ones, but it's nice to be on the other side. I can just relax.
I know.
I don't have to do so much active listening.
And thinking,
I know.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah. Just
your
gotta
job
respond.
now.
We're
Yeah.
getting better at this because
Yeah.
at first we suck. We're still on the progress of getting better on this.
Oh, it's a
Especially
learning
with English.
progress.
But so you can you tell our listeners a little bit more about yourself, your
Yeah.
background?
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll start from the beginning. I'm from Hilo, Hawaii, on the Big Island. I grew up going to Hawaiian immersion school from preschool all the way to 11th grade. So I speak Hawaiian. That's my first language. My dad only speaks Hawaiian to us to this day. And then my senior year of high school, I actually moved to Oahu, and I graduated from Kaiser High School.
Cool girl.
Yeah, go Cougars. Because I moved there to play football and soccer. Ended up staying there my senior year. I was gonna go to Washington for college, but I ended up just staying at UH. Was there for 5 years. I was a super senior. And then I studied abroad in Spain. Fell in love with travel, the language, culture, everything. So, and when I was over there, I learned about this thing called the Peace Corps. And for
What
those
is Peace
who
Corps?
don't know what the Peace
Yeah.
Corps is, it's a government organization that sends volunteers to developing countries to help out. And it's all based on peace and friendship, It sounds really hippie-ish, but, there's a lot of, good work that they do in the Peace Corps. So I came back after Spain, studied abroad in Argentina. I was so set on, going to a South American country for the Peace Corps because I wanted to be fluent in Spanish. And then when I was applying for the Peace Corps at the end of my super senior year, I was on the M section. So I had Peru and Costa Rica. And then I was on the M section, and I really wanted to just finish my application. So I saw, Madagascar, like the movie, like the cartoon movie. So that's the only thing I thought about, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go put Madagascar, and not even thinking it was a real option. So I did it, and I got an interview for Madagascar. I learned about the similarities between there and Hawaii. I went, and I loved it. It was a blessing in disguise. I extended for 1 year, so I was there for 3 years in total. And then came back. I did this thing called the Race to 50K, where I paid off $53,757 of student
That's
loans
awesome.
in
Oh my God.
1 year, just by doing a bunch of odd jobs.
Yeah.
I had long hair, I had a beard, everything. Totally different than how I look now. And then while I was doing that, I met the people that had the idea to start Hawaiiverse, which is our business. It's an online platform that supports local businesses. We have an e-commerce store where we sell local products, kind of like the Amazon of Hawaii. And then our coupon directory, which is now an app, where we have discounts to local businesses, kind of like a local version of
What is the name of the
Groupon.
app?
Hawaiiverse.
Hawaiiverse.
Yeah, like Hawaii's universe.
Okay.
Yeah, so we've been doing that, and along the way of doing our business, we created a podcast as well, which is the Hawaiiverse Podcast that you see,
Yeah.
that everybody sees. We're actually about to change the name in a little bit, so I guess I could drop it here.
Can
like a
you
little
say
sneak
the
peek.
name?
Yeah.
No, not yet.
Yeah, no, it would be called Keep It Aloha.
Keep it Aloha.
Yeah, Keep It Aloha
Oh,
podcast with Kamaka.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, so that's basically my whole story summed up in a.
Oh yeah.
I don't know how long that was.
No, I have
5
so,
minutes.
he was talking. I was like, wait, I have so many questions.
Yeah, I know. Just tell me to shut up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But like going back to when you were growing up in Hawaii in Hilo, how was it to like grow up in Hawaii, and like what is the main Hawaiian culture value that you could say growing up in Hawaii it formed to who you are today?
Yeah, I got very, very lucky. I'm very blessed that I had the upbringing that I've had, especially going to Hawaiian immersion school where everything is rooted in Hawaiian values.
Yeah.
So, ohana, family, ho'ihi, respect, respecting others, respecting our kupuna, our elders, all of that. So definitely that building that community and seeing everybody as one, like a whole collective where we're all working together to, you know, succeed and progress in
Yeah.
this world. That's what I got from my childhood. And, you know, my parents and my family, they're so awesome. My parents got divorced when I was about third grade, and I have step parents, and they always put the kids first. So they're all super cool. We all have we can have family dinners together. They can all be in the same room, be talking stories. So I have a very unique upbringing. Like I would see movies and TV shows where people would hate their step parents. I'm like, what? I love my step parents. I get
that's
extra
awesome,
gifts
yeah.
on Christmas. Why? Instead of 2 parents, I got 4. You know. So, yeah. So I think my parents gave me a very good childhood, and
Yes.
you know, that included playing a lot of sports, and you know. I know it wasn't easy for them, but they struggled, so I wouldn't have to. So I'm
Yeah.
really grateful for that.
Speaking
you,
of
for sure.
speaking of struggles, because we live in Hawaii, we are not from here. We're Haolis, but we know that, you know, Hawaii, the community is struggling, and people from outside, when they think about Hawaii, even me, like back in the days, you think about Hawaii like this, like paradisiac place, like perfect place, perfect world. But we
Paradise.
know that it's not like that, right? We know the community is struggling. Can you share, because our listeners is mostly not from Hawaii, can you share a little bit your perspective of like the main struggles of Hawaii?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, modern day housing is a huge issue. It's very expensive to live here. There's a lot of developers that, you know, knock down places, build high rises, and people coming and moving here and raising the prices for locals. So there's that. And then, you know, if you go back to the history of Hawaii, in 1893, we were illegally overthrown by the American government. And then, you know, they locked our queen in her own house, put a gun to her head, made her just give Hawaii away.
Yeah.
And then, you know, a few years later, we became a state. So what are we, the 50th state of the United States? So there's a lot of generational trauma from that, because our culture was ripped away, our language was taken away. Our grandparents couldn't even speak the language. You know, if they were to teach kids Hawaiian, or if people were to speak it, they would get beaten in class. So there's almost a missing generation of the Hawaiian language and the culture. So it wasn't until the 70s where this renaissance of Hawaiian was kind of resurged. And so I'm happy to be part of that movement. But so with all that being said, there's still a lot of trauma, culturally, historic trauma, not just with like the housing. I mean, everything is related.
Yes.
But identity is a big issue. That's something we talk about on our podcast a lot. Like, what does it mean to be Hawaiian these days? You know, where blood quantum is basically like a colonistic idea to, you know, displace Hawaiian, to create division. So lot of things like that going on behind the surface, behind the trees and beaches, and you know, and then homelessness too as well. You know, so I could just keep listing these things.
The
Yeah,
homeless
that's-
situation is
it's
insane.
terrible.
Yes.
Terrible, yeah. It's a lot of
Because-
homeless, you know, in Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, I go through saw more your life, you know, your story. You dance hula too, right?
So growing up in my Hawaiian immersion school, it's very hands-on, very cultural. So we would sing, dance, chant, work in the garden, all of that, like even prepare our own food. So when I was in school, growing up, I was a bad student. I mean, I got good grades, but I was kolohe, I was rascal. I didn't care about all that stuff. I just wanted to play sports, go, you know, wait till school finishes and hang out with my friends, play video games. I wasn't into the culture like how I am now.
Yeah.
And that happens a lot, you know. When you have it, you just don't care, and then the people that don't have it, they're really into it. So I didn't really take it seriously. I didn't really remember the dances. So a couple months ago, I actually started to take hula again with my girlfriend. So we're both learning. So I'm relearning how to hula properly without trying to break dance in between. dances.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you think that vision of yours changed because you went abroad and then you started valuing what you had at home more?
Definitely. Yeah, I think it happens a lot, and that's why I encourage everybody to leave and see the rest of the world, because you definitely appreciate what you have here. And wasn't even proud to be Hawaiian or to speak Hawaiian. I didn't know how blessed I was to be able to do that until I went to Spain, and I would talk to people and I would say I'm from Hawaii, and they're like, oh, where? Oh, Hawaii. Oh, it's so beautiful. You live in paradise. I'm like, wow, yeah, I live where people vacation.
Yeah.
And then I tell them, oh, I speak Hawaiian, and they're like, wait, Hawaiian's a real language? I'm like, yeah, less than 1% of the population speaks it.
Yeah.
It was a dying language, and I'm like, wow, that's so cool. Like I didn't realize that until I said it out loud, until I met other people and they thought it was super cool, and then I realized, wow, how am I not proud to be Hawaiian and proud to speak this language? So it's a cool honor, it's a responsibility to perpetuate it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, thank you. Thank you for sharing.
Now,
that.
talking about Madagascar, is it really like the movies? The movie that must be Madagascar.
There's Alex's and Gloria's, but they don't. They're not animals, and they speak English. Yes. There's no talking animals. There's no deadly animals actually. So there's no lions, giraffes, zebras, all of that. There's a lot of endemic species. Like I think 90% of the wildlife and like flora and fauna is endemic to Madagascar. So like lemurs are from Madagascar. Even those neon green geckos that you see here, they're the Madagascar gecko. They came from Madagascar.
Oh.
Yeah. So I didn't know that until later, but it's very similar to Hawaiian culture, where it's that island life. It's very slow. How we have Hawaiian time, they have Malagasy time. Malagasy time is just Hawaiian time times 10. But yeah, it's not like the movie, because I think people don't realize that the animals started in New York and they crash landed in Madagascar.
That is true.
Yeah, so everybody just thinks like they like to dance, they like to move it. They do like to move it. Malagasy people are great at dancing. But it's the 4th largest island in the world. There's 30 million people living there.
Wow.
It takes forever to travel. And it's just a beautiful place, beautiful culture. Even though it's one of the poorest countries in the world, people live off less than $1 a day.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that gives you perspective, is living, not just seeing poverty on TV and clips on social media, like living in impoverished conditions.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have running water. Like I had to get water from a well. We had to live like them. That's the goal of the Peace Corps, to live like the locals. Like we got paid a living stipend, $180 a month to live off.
Oh wow.
So you really get to integrate into the community and live like them and see what it's like to be in a country like that.
But how's the education there?
Oh, it's terrible. I mean,
Really?
When you see poor countries, most likely it's corrupt. So the government, has exactly. Yeah, and there's really no middle class. It's it's that and this. And there's a reason for that, because all the people in politics, they keep all the money and, they keep people poor. But, so seeing that, and it's tough, because you want to help out so much and you want to be able to give back and not feel bad for everybody.
Yeah.
So, in the Peace Corps, we do what we can. There's different sectors. So I taught English. I taught kids in a rural community how to speak English. I had two sections of 50 6th graders and 2 sections of 10th graders. Mm-hmm. And teaching English is so important, because there's a lot of other opportunities that come from teaching English. They can maybe make their way to the States and get better jobs. So it's hard to teach them not just English, but the importance of learning it and seeing the bigger picture
and giving them a more broad, opening doors.
Yeah, because it's like some people don't even leave their village, so they don't even know what's out there.
What language do they speak?
Malagasy.
Malagasy.
Yeah, and it's actually interesting because it's in the same Austronesian family as Hawaiian.
Ah.
Yeah, so a lot of the words are similar.
Did you learn that there?
Yeah, I speak Malagasy.
Oh, you did.
When you get to the Peace Corps, you have 3 months of training where you live with a host family. You have 4 hours of language every single day, and then after 3 months, you get sent to your site where you live. And over there, nobody speaks English. Maybe there could be like a couple people that kind of speak English.
That's what
So
I
you-
was wondering, yeah.
Yeah, you just have to learn it. So by going to the market and
Yeah.
bargaining for food and talking with people, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
Was there any
speaking.
cultural shock? Like when you got there, there's something you were like, oh.
I think because the culture is really similar to here, everyone's nice, everyone's welcoming. They have a word for haole as well, vaza.
Oh, they do.
So like I totally get that. I know I was a vaza, I was a haole in
Yeah, yeah.
Madagascar. You know, I have a chapter about that in my book. But I think
Their
the
book, guys.
This is the
yeah so far.
It's on Amazon?
Yes, it's on Amazon.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon, yeah.
Yeah, it's a fun book. It's just my blog that I had over 3 years. I put it into that.
So
I
this
love
book is
the
pretty much
food,
about
the
the
pictures.
Madagascar
Yeah,
experience.
yeah, all of that, and there's some poems. There's some thoughts
So far.
that I had.
How
that
did
I
you
put
came
into.
up with this title so far?
Yeah.
So far, so I think I mentioned it a little bit in the first page, but I was thinking of a book cover when I was doing my race to 50K because I wanted to make extra money. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
So I was thinking of a book. My blog was called Kamaka Flock of Flame. So that was my blog, and I was like, maybe I'll call it Kamaka Flock of Flames book, like blog book.
Yeah.
And I was advised that's a dumb name, book. I thought it was funny, but my brother was helping me think of names, and he said so far, and I thought that was good because Madagascar is so far from Hawaii, and I want to write a book like that's more in depth about my whole entire 3 years. This is just a fun one, and this is what I have about Madagascar so far. So it's like a double entendre.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to read it.
Yeah.
I love
So you
this
stayed
story.
3 years
Thank
there.
you.
3 years, so
Without
2 years,
coming
and I
back?
extended.
Oh,
So when you extend for another year, they send you home for a month for a mandatory mental health leave.
yeah.
So I came back at the end of 2019 for a month, and then I went back. Yeah, but for 2 years I didn't go home, and you don't have Wi-Fi and stuff, so you're able to communicate maybe on Facebook, or when you go to the city, you can FaceTime people.
And
Yeah.
I think
You still have a connection.
You still have a connection. I thought I wouldn't be as connected as I was because just how far we've come in life. Like
yeah.
there's connection in the middle of nowhere in Madagascar, and they all have a cheap Facebook plan. So even though you can't maybe like FaceTime people, you can still send a
text
Facebook text message or WhatsApp.
Okay.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Wow.
that time goes by like you were more present? Because like for example, when I went to Tahiti, they don't really have like Wi-Fi like everywhere, and the day seemed so long. You seem like to be living more. Did you have the same feeling? When
Yeah.
Because you're disconnected from all the
Yeah,
technology.
exactly. They
The world.
rise by the sun and they sleep when it sets. So that lifestyle was interesting to get used to. But yeah, I feel like with that I kind of got really good at just telling the time without you knowing it.
Yeah.
Like I could be like, oh, it's probably like around 2:00 right now.
Just by looking at that.
Yeah, just like this. I had a really good grasp on time. Like, oh, it's like this was 30 minutes ago. Like knowing, okay, I've been surfing for about 1 hour and 15 minutes. It's because like I don't know. It's
You
like,
just get so connected.
yeah, because you just get so used to just not looking at the time and just
Yeah.
kind of, I don't know, being like you said, being present.
Present, yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
I have a question. What's the food there?
Oh, the food, pretty basic, but there are some really good food. I mean, they have food just like here in Hawaii. They have kalo, taro, breadfruit, sweet potato. They eat a lot of rice. So rice is their
Oh.
main dish.
Okay.
So I even got it tattooed on my arm.
Oh,
This is a rice stock and then the word ohana.
Can you get it on the camera?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a rice stock, and then the island of Madagascar is the okina, which is that
okay.
that thing you see
Yeah,
between
yeah.
Hawaii, and because everybody always forgets to put the okina on ohana, and everybody doesn't know that Madagascar is a real place. So and there's 5 letters like for my 5 siblings, and then there's 8 rice stocks for the 8 Hawaiian Islands.
Oh.
So yeah.
That's awesome.
That's what I said too.
Over there is sticky rice.
Yeah. No, not necessarily. They have that, but they have all types of rice: red rice, white rice, brown rice, even like kind of variations of that. But they would have like a huge plate of like a mountain of rice and maybe like a small piece of meat or vegetable.
Oh, okay.
But rice is huge. So they eat beans, and one of my favorite dish was ravi tutu, which is crushed cassava leaves, and they put coconut and pork inside, and you eat it with rice. It's so good.
Wow, it sounds yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You try Brazilian food before?
I mean, you do a lot of like asado. Is that like similar to like a barbecue?
Barbecue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Argentina they did a lot of asado, like barbecue.
Barbecue.
food.
Yeah,
Is that
the
similar?
barbecue.
And
Yeah.
then
That's
I've seen like the stuff where they cut
the
the
steakhouse,
Yeah.
steakhouse, yeah.
It's curd, what's the
The name.
espeto?
I don't know.
like the kebabs.
I know that when the people come in the table
That's
with
what
the
he's
meat.
talking about.
Oh, okay, yeah. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if I've been to one here. Do we have one here?
No.
I think they used to and then they closed.
Oh, you gotta open one up then.
I know.
I know. But I think in North Shore and they have a truck.
Oh, okay.
The Hawaiiverse.
Oh, crispy grinds.
Yeah.
Yes, I've been there.
You try coxinha.
I
Try coxinha
think so.
when you
It's
go
very
there.
good.
What is
Coxinha,
that?
Coxinha.
pastel.
It's a dough, it's a dough.
Yeah.
And inside have a chicken.
Okay.
Chicken.
I think
yeah.
I did have that
Yeah.
before.
That's
I like the
good.
acai bowls.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
how-
acai
That's
is
probably
really
my favorite thing
Yeah,
from
and
Brazil.
try brigadeiro. Brigadeiro is
Okay.
the chocolate ball.
Ooh, I'm a big sweets guy.
Brigadeiro.
Okay, I'm actually going there this weekend to surf. So
Brigadeiro.
okay, we'll go there. Yes.
The chocolate ball and pastel.
Okay.
That was really
Pastels that look like the pastelle.
I think I've had that before.
Yeah, that's good too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Very yummy, you know.
Yeah. How do you two feel about like the acai bowl
good. Compared to Brazil.
compared like the Brazilian
It's
acai?
very different.
Different.
Because
Yeah.
in Brazil we have
It's
the
the dark one,
guarana.
yeah?
No, we
Yeah.
have the guarana, which is like a fruit from the Amazon, and
Yeah.
we normally mix that with the acai, so the taste is a
Mhm.
little different. And I feel like the acai is like stronger in Brazil.
Mhm.
You know, the real acai, like the locals in Amazon, they eat not sweet. It's like salty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's very different.
Yeah, so from Amazon. Amazon
yeah.
is the real acai. When you go to Brazil, go to Amazon,
Uh-huh.
Amazonia. There's the real.
Okay.
Yeah,
Acai.
but they don't eat like a bowl like sweet like we
Yeah.
normally
Mhm.
do. But
It's the salt.
overall in Brazil, the acai itself is mixed with guarana, so it tastes a little different.
Okay.
But yeah, but it's
Yeah.
real good.
Yeah, the crispy grill have the guarana drink too.
Okay. I never tried
Yeah,
that
It's
one.
like a soda. You can
Yeah,
try.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah,
awesome.
that's good. That's
Yeah.
very
Super
good.
cool.
Yeah, my kids love the
Yeah.
you know, all the time I need buy on Amazon, you know, ship for here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Awesome.
So when you came back from Madagascar, is that when you went on your race to the 50K?
Yeah,
Oh,
when
yeah.
I was finishing up my Peace Corps time, I was thinking of what I want to do next, and I wanted to travel, I wanted to write books, I wanted to do other things, and it always kept coming back to student loans stopping me, because I was like, I got $50,000 of student loans, and if I take 10 years to pay it off, I'm gonna have paid $70,000. So I was thinking, okay, what if I just ask 50,000 people for $1? Then I'll be done. Like, that'll be cool. And I just didn't like that idea because I wanted to work for it. I wanted to kind of have a bigger meaning and mission than just like paying off student loans. So I wanted to prove to people that it's possible to do it in a year. Because I hear people taking their whole entire lives to pay it off, and I'm like, why does it take so long? So I came up with this idea to just work every day, do whatever it takes to pay off my student loans, document the whole thing, build a following, and don't charge anything. So if you had a job for me, I would just go and do it. We'd connect, and I'd meet you wherever you want.
And you
then,
wouldn't set your price?
and I wouldn't set a price. So until I did the job, they would just give me money. So I could make anywhere from like $20 or $100 or $300, or I could, like I've cleared whole entire bushes with a machete and got $20. But then I had my neighbor in Hilo who called me over to his property, and he said, "Oh, Kamaka, can you pick this one weed in my yard?" and I picked it, and he gave me $100.
Yeah.
You know, so
they
it's
had
like
the two opposite. The people that were kind of like abusing.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think the whole idea of it was just to show that people are kind and people are willing to help, and I didn't care if I got paid because I love helping people. So even if they paid me lower than what the job should have paid, I was still happy because I got to help out, and they're helping me out with my mission. So it's this reciprocation of aloha,
Yeah.
and that was the idea, to show that kindness is inherent in everyone. You just need to, people just need an opportunity to show it, and I think I proved that. I mean, because at the end, people were just giving just to donate because they loved the story and they wanted to be a part of it. Like somebody gave me a car.
Oh, really?
So somebody gave me a car and I drove around that year because I bought a longboard, and I was just skating places, biking places, catching rides, and then somebody gave me a car. So if that's not aloha, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, but I think that's the true like abundance. You know, is when you give, even when people don't give it back, because that's what you have within you. You're just like overflowing that aloha, that abundance, and that just comes back to you. Life just brings it back to you. So that's very inspiring. And that also, if people want to watch that, where can they watch that?
I had like a weekly recap on my YouTube channel, Kamaka Dias 8.
Okay.
And if you go to my Instagram, there could be some story highlights. There's a bunch of news videos about it. I have a video that I made to announce it, and then I was on the news a couple times to announce the race to 50K, and then I was on the news before I ended and after I ended.
So you were able to make it in 11 months?
11 months, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it actually was quicker than I thought, and it would have actually been way quicker if the pandemic hit, because this happened during the pandemic.
2020.
Yeah,
2020.
so it made it way harder. So when I started,
challenging.
It made it super hard, but it just like I came out firing. Like I wasn't expecting people to just donate money or just be so on board with the mission. And by the time COVID hit, I think I was already 3 months ahead of schedule. But then when COVID hit, I had to change stuff up because, a lot of it was being out in the community and helping people. Like I dressed up as Buzz Lightyear for a kid's birthday party, and was doing stuff like that. So when that happened, I did a lot more grocery shopping, delivering stuff. A lot of like social distancing, little contact. With people, so it slowed things down a little bit, but it picked up again, so I was able to finish it in 11 months.
Did you plan to finishing within a certain amount
1
of time?
year, yeah.
You had that goal?
Yeah, so I said for 1 year I'm gonna work every single day. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to pay off my loans, and so I lived with my family, and then I lived very frugally. I documented everything I spent, everything I made, and I didn't buy anything. If I wanted an acai bowl, I would just discipline myself. I didn't travel. I fasted. So I intermittent fast regularly, so I only eat like 2 meals a day, so that helped out.
How did you start that?
When I was in my third year of Peace Corps, I moved to the city and I had Wi-Fi, and I was just catching up on life. And then I ended up going down the YouTube rabbit hole of fasting and getting healthy. So I love the benefits of it, and it fit my lifestyle. So I've been intermittent fasting for about 4 years maybe.
Because I hear a lot of people like they start fasting and they get more like
energy, focus,
open their mind.
I think it's nice because you're not thinking about food all the time. Because we're habitual people, so eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks in between, and it's really just habit.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good.
And
Thank you for sharing. I have if you don't mind, how old are you?
Oh, I do mind. No, you want to guess, or should I just tell you?
I guess. I guess.
28? No?
I just shaved, so I could look younger.
28.
26.
I just turned 30.
30. Okay, I was close.
Yeah. I look younger than I am.
Yeah.
You
look young.
I think it's the Asian blood. It's the Asian don't raisin. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Wow.
What is that?
Asian don't raisin.
Don't raisin.
Yeah.
What is that?
You know like a raisin?
Oh yeah.
How
Okay.
it gets
Okay. Now I
so they say Asian don't raisin. You don't get wrinkly.
I'm terrible at picking up the We went to Texas and we got an Uber driver and he was like saying jokes after jokes and she was like cracking up and I was just cracking up because I couldn't understand shit. I was like, oh my god, like I don't I'm just laughing just because it's because it's a joke.
Bia, come on, Bia.
That's funny.
Kamaka, that's so amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all this. You know, because you're so young, you have a lot of story.
My knees don't feel young.
But you back to water, you surf. Yeah, that's amazing.
But it just shows like how the power of the mindset. Were you 100% sure that you're gonna make that 50K, or you're like iffy about it?
Oh no, 100%. I believe in the power of the mind. Like I feel like my mindset is so strong that I can accomplish anything, especially after coming from Madagascar and living in those conditions and getting through the things that I had to get through. I mean, my second month of Peace Corps, I had appendicitis. I had to remove my appendix. I had surgery in Madagascar. And I was 8 hours from the hospital.
Oh, how was that?
So like, I started feeling sick, and then there's a chapter in it too. So if you want to know the full story, go read the book. But so I ended up having to wait for the hospital because the training center was 4 hours from the city. So I had to wait 4 hours for the ambulance to come, and then 4 hours to go over there.
You have
and then
a lot of pain.
Yeah, I was like 10 out of 10, sore.
I have a migraine.
Yeah. You removed your appendix. Yeah. So luckily it didn't burst because that would have been really bad. I could have died. So I did that, and then I've had other sicknesses, food poisoning, and like fleas that go into your feet, and I had to dig it out after they lay eggs, and like getting stuck in a cyclone, and just like all those things. I'm like,
is it all in the book? We gotta read it.
Majority of it, yeah. And just thinking like, well, if I could get through this, I could do anything. So I even tweeted. There's a tweet. I think it's on my social media where I said, I'm gonna pay off $50,000 student loans in 1 year, and I'm gonna look back at this and high five myself for doing it. And I did it. Yeah.
Yes. That's, oh my God.
Yeah. So I spoke it into existence. Even months before I even did it and announced it, I was planning it. I was telling people before I left, like, what are you gonna do next? I'm gonna pay off $50,000 student loans in 1 year by being unemployed. And people think it's crazy. But I was that crazy guy that did it.
That's possible.
Yeah,
that's possible.
I just knew that nothing was gonna stop me from achieving my goal. And same with the podcast. I said, if I'm gonna start a podcast, I'm gonna make it the best podcast in Hawaii. And like a year later, it was the biggest podcast. Yeah. There's not too many podcasts, so I mean, it's not a huge market, but
Well, no,
it's
but
pretty
you're
cool.
doing an amazing job, and bringing
and I love
Hawaii
your
together.
podcast. I love watching your podcast.
Yes, hello.
Super
That's
fun,
awesome.
Yeah.
What would you tell people that are trying to pay their student loan? Like, what advice would you give them? Because it's like so many people out there.
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to make sacrifices. I think people just have to discipline themselves. I mean, like I was really lucky with the setup that I had. I was able to live with my family, but I made all those sacrifices for a year. Not going out and spending money and just putting it all towards my student debt. I didn't buy a car. I didn't buy, these other things to put me more in debt.
Yeah.
So even if you wanted to get a 9-to-5 job, which I would never do, and if say you make, I don't know, $60,000 a year, I think during that year I spent about $5,000.
Oh wow.
But I didn't have to pay for rent, so I mean, if you do have to pay for rent, that's a little different. But if you can live with your family for a year, pay maybe a couple $100 of rent. Don't go on trips. Don't go out to the club and drink and whatever. Just for 1 year. That's all you just sacrifice 1 year. Because I sacrificed 3 years of my life in the Peace Corps. So I was like, what's one more year? And then by doing that, I'm free. I'm able to go on these entrepreneurial adventures and start businesses that, I don't make a lot of money yet, but I'm building the foundation. But because I don't need to be paying my debt off.
Yeah.
Now I have a truck, so I do have that. But in that sense, it's just you got to make the sacrifices. people I just feel like they're not lazy. They don't want to sacrifice what they have.
Yes.
And that's what you need to do. You got to discipline yourself and make sacrifices if you want to achieve anything.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good lesson for the young people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only young people, because there are people that are older, they still have their student
Yeah.
loan, right?
I
Because
know,
it's like,
yeah.
but yeah, that's a very inspiring.
Inspiring, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
For everyone.
You know,
Yeah.
you don't need too much to live, right? Simple life sometimes
Yeah.
is good.
I mean, here it's expensive, but if you can
yeah.
find the right setup, if if your main expense is just rent and maybe your car,
Yeah.
and you make enough money, just put the other on the side. Get a little just, to live.
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's a lot of things we can do for fun. Surfing is free. Hiking is free.
Yeah.
You
Go to
know?
the beach, spend all day on the
Yeah.
beach. Right?
Yeah. If you're a girl, just get free drinks at the bar. Don't buy your own drinks. Like, use what you have.
Free drink?
Free drinks. Yeah.
Free drink.
If you're
Oh, Christina.
No.
don't even act. I've seen it so many times. When we were in Spain, we go out with all the friends. Like, all the girls get to go in for free, and then and they don't got paid for anything. And then we're all walking in with everybody, and they stop the guys, and we gotta wait in line and pay a cover fee.
That is true.
So I'm not saying it happens all the time, but
Yeah.
if stuff like that happens to you, take advantage of it. Yeah, use what you got.
Don't
Yeah,
spend extra money. Just
don't
use
spend any
your mouth.
money. Yeah. Yeah, if you don't have a surfboard, go meet somebody that has a surfboard. Don't use people, but
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
there's ways. There's ways
Yeah.
for
Yes,
sure.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, what is right now? What's going on in your life? Would you say? Because it always seems to be something exciting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the one advice that I would say is, always do the next most exciting thing, and that's what I've done for the last couple of years. And after Peace Corps, it was the race 50K. After that, it was Hawaiiverse. Now it's the podcast, and now we're separating the podcast from Hawaiiverse, and I'm taking that on as my own business. So that's scary and exciting.
That's exciting. Yeah.
And I'm also part of some other businesses too now, and there's a business that I'm now an owner of. It's called Mahalo Shoots. It's this influencer merch collab business. So we just did a shirt for Iam Tongi. I don't know if you follow American Idol. There's some viral clips of this guy singing. So good. So we made a shirt for him.
Yeah.
So we do shirts for people, and half the profits go to them.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, that's nice.
So that's something that I'm working on now. And then I gotta finish my Race to 50K book. I keep
you're writing a book.
I'm writing a
about
book. It takes so long because
Yeah.
other opportunities keep coming up, and I feel like that story can wait. I'm still in this moment of my life where I'm
Yeah.
hustling, and I'm still
inside the stuff.
writing other
Yeah.
chapters of my life. So it's always constant. I'm always busy. I always have to force myself to take time to relax and
Slow down.
surf and try to play soccer, and so it's always something. There's always something going on, and like I have a huge family too, so I'm always flying to the Big Island to see my nieces and nephews and birthdays, graduation, baby showers. There's so many things going on. So my life is never boring.
That's awesome.
Your
Yeah.
parents live in a big
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of my family, just my grandma and auntie live here on Oahu.
Okay.
I love
Yeah.
the Big Island. It's so the energy over there
Yes,
is so
it is. It's
powerful.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
What's
fun.
that little one?
Cunny, my niece. Yeah,
your
she's so
niece. Oh,
cute.
she's
Little
so
one.
cute.
Yeah,
so
she's
cute.
the cutest.
Do you have a
She's
niece?
so
Yeah.
funny.
I have like, let's see, wait, let me count it. Seven nieces, I think. Nieces and nephews.
Aw.
Yeah.
You're the youngest?
No, I'm the middle child.
You're the middle child.
But my older brother and my younger sister, they have kids, and then my stepsister has 3 kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of them. I don't know if I'm ready to have kids yet. So.
It's
No,
really-
no.
It's a lot of
No,
work.
no.
Yeah, it seems like it's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
As I see my friends of my age have kids, they're like, doesn't this make you want to have a kid? I'm like, no, it's doing the opposite.
It's the opposite.
Like, you guys cannot hang out. You always gotta take care of the crying babies. And,
Yeah,
I love
take
being
the
an uncle. I get all the fun with 0
And
responsibilities.
then when they cry here.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay,
Of course, okay.
I got a phone call. I gotta join the meeting. Sorry.
Yeah. You're
Yeah.
smart, boy. You're smart.
Yeah, so-
You're smart.
One day, I think. But yeah, it's not making me want to have kids anytime soon.
Right
No,
now.
you're
yeah.
young.
Yeah.
I think after I had, because I have twins,
Yeah.
they're 3 years old now.
Oh,
I
twins,
feel like
wow.
I aged probably 10 years within a year or so. I feel like dreaming all the time, like just rushing
A
after
zombie,
It's like double the
zombie.
trouble.
Yeah,
right?
but
twins
what's
are-
the best part of having kids?
I think the conditional love that you feel is like a love that you never felt before.
Mm.
Is like, especially mom and kids like that. They have a unconditional love to their kids too. But like being able to generate life inside of you, that's like a crazy experience.
Yeah.
And just
It
that
is
bond.
crazy.
Yeah.
I have a 4. I
Okay.
have 4 girls.
Yeah.
And I say, I kill and die for my kids.
Mm.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the truth. My oldest, she's 28.
Mm.
She's 28, but so, you're still my child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It
that's the
doesn't
type of
matter.
love. Like if someone shows
Yeah.
up with a gun here, like I would like give my life
Yeah.
without even thinking. Like that's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's
The maternal instinct.
it's tiring, but it's rewarding
worth
at
it.
the same time.
Yeah,
But
okay.
don't rush.
One day I'll know. Yeah.
Take
Yeah.
your time. Take your time.
Yeah.
Kamaka, if you could tell our listeners, if you could leave the world just one message, what would that be?
I would say aloha. Aloha, people know it as hello, goodbye. But there's so many different definitions of aloha. I mean, it means love, it's compassion, and
Mm-hmm.
I feel like a lot of people can learn from Hawaii, and what we give to the world is aloha. It's unconditional. Like
Yeah.
you talk about unconditional love, and that's what aloha is. It's understanding, it's compassion, it's forgiveness at times.
Yes.
So I just feel like if people had more aloha in them and gave aloha without expecting anything in return, I just feel like the world would be such a better place. I'm like, you live here now, and I'm sure there's reasons why you don't want to leave, because the aloha spirit is real.
Yes.
Because the lifestyle here is so genuine and accepting.
Yes.
And even though we have all these problems, and the people hate on like tourists a lot of times,
Yeah.
that's a small community.
Yeah.
And if you come with aloha, you come with respect, you're not gonna have a problem. And you do things to give back to the community. You bring value instead of just taking.
Yeah.
Then you won't have a problem here.
Yes.
Yeah, and that all comes from aloha.
Yes.
So that's my message, is aloha. That's why I'm naming the podcast Keep It Aloha, because
I
you know,
love
I
that
just
name.
keep it
Yeah.
aloha.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good name.
Thank
Yeah.
you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Yeah.
Obrigado in português.
Yeah, obrigado.
Thank you so much for your
Yeah.
time here.
It was
Love it.
very
That's
nice.
so inspiring for a lot of people, for young people, old people, everybody. Thank
Yeah,
you
it's
so
such
much.
a great inspiration, your life story,
Mahalo.
your mindset. Yeah.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Obrigado for having me.
Yes. So we're gonna leave here for you guys Kamaka's Instagram, also his podcast information, so you guys can listen
All
to
the
it. It's
links
amazing.
and
Yeah.
the bottle, the
Mahalo.
video.
All right.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Thank you so
Keep it aloha.
much.